What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Buzz. Listen, we're going to have a lot of content posted this weekend, especially when it comes to the drink reviews. Definitely want to tune in. You're definitely going to be super excited, and you're going to get a great laugh because it was just fun. We did something a lot different this time around. But getting right into the talk of things, Brandon, I don't know what the fuck is going on in China, but China needs to stop.
Look,
China needs to stop.
all these experiments they be doing.
Know that COVID-19 originated from China off a goddamn bat. But now it's being reported China confirms a new virus outbreak after a man eats bird semen. I don't know what they doing in China, but stop it.
I got a lot. Was there more questions?
What the fuck?
That a dude ate bird semen? Or like, how the fuck did he get the bird semen?
I have a lot of questions.
Like, how did you get a hold of the semen? And why?
First of all, how did you get a hold of the bird? This is what I got to add.
Well, I'm more like, it could get me like a wild bird.
Like, listen, we just bring you the news. That's what's being reported.
That's crazy. I'm like, why are you eating it? Why are you eating semen in general from a bird, from an animal?
College football, not much to talk about there. We talked about the college football playoffs last week. Not much. I mean, the college football playoffs have changed. Now I get to it. The biggest news coming out of college football right now is James Franklin, the former Penn State head coach, has finally become the Virginia Tech head coach, which is big news for the fact they lowered his buyout.
It did.
Penn State to just $9 million. So
how that worked was he had a clause in his contract where if he signed elsewhere after if he would ever have been fired, whatever he would be making from the team that he would be getting his new deal from would eat into what that buyout was, which ends up being only $9 million. So Penn State's only on the hook for $9 million now. That's huge for Penn State.
It's huge for Penn State because it was the second largest buyout in college football history, which now really does it still stay the second largest, or does it go away?
It goes away because it's only his buyout's $9 million now.
There you go. Brandon gave it to you, so it's no longer the largest buyout, one of the largest buyouts, because he got a new head coaching job position. But he's going to Virginia Tech. They've already introduced him and whatnot. They have not given out the numbers yet, so the moment we get the numbers, we will bring those to you guys. But James Franklin is the new head coach of Virginia Tech. And listen, if it's anything like he's going to have Virginia Tech playing winning football. I don't know.
Are you surprised that he went to Virginia Tech? And he didn't end up more at a bigger powerhouse than them?
I would have thought maybe a bigger powerhouse. But Virginia Tech needed a coach. And
let alone like during like the middle end of the season of college football, he signed up. I was kind of surprised he didn't go to like a bigger school than Virginia Tech.
When you think about the bigger schools, a lot of the bigger schools that we would think he would go to, they're in a big disarray. They're in got a lot of issues, and probably didn't want to take all that. Virginia Tech is not in a big disarray. They're in a little bit of a disarray.
Do you consider it a step down, though? Huh? You consider him taking a step down from what BIU is to, or from Penn State?
Penn State to, it's a little bit of a step down. But, again, I would like to see what the numbers look like. Then we'll have a little bit more of an understanding.
I'm just kind of, I have a problem in my mind with him taking a lesser college program, football-wise.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to have them playing winning football. They're going to win a shit ton of games.
But he's really great at building programs, as we see with Penn State. I mean, they're winning games, but the tenure just kind of ran out there. The trend just kind of ran out. So, I mean, I think you will have Virginia Tech, like you said, winning games. And I think he'll be able to build a very solid program there. But I'm more shocked that that's where he went than anything else.
Absolutely. So, like I said, that's the biggest talk that we got going on in college football right now. Closer we get to college football playoffs, we get a little bit better of a seeding. We'll bring those to you because we got to talk about them because college football went to the 12. And we've touched on this before. If I am college football, keep it at 12. It really shouldn't have went to 12. But this whole talk of we got to open it up to more. No, you don't. You don't need to open it up to more because right now, currently, you have Tulane sitting in the college football playoffs. And that is just so unfair to Tulane because they're going to get absolutely smoked. You had South Florida in there before last week's game. After last week's game, Tulane popped in there Texas is falling out. So like, there's going to be so much movement, and just because you are one of the top programs, you're going to have programs that are going to fall out. You're going to have somebody in that top 25, especially in that top 20, that's going to sneak into the college football playoffs because of how it's worked out, and they're just going to get smoked. And it's not great for ratings, and that's why Brandon has a big problem with it. With it being
Well, the only thing it is, it gives the underdog, gives you that Cinderella story that I
that
guess
doesn't really
people wanted.
happen a lot.
Not in football. Not in
Yeah,
football. Like
it
the
does not.
SEC, the Big Ten, they're all leaps and bounds, and a little bit of the Big 12. They're all leaps and bounds better than the smaller Division One programs.
So moving over to the NBA right now. Again, we're 13 to 15 games into the season. So it's still very early. There are some injuries. Victor Wembanyama, he's out. He's going to be out a couple weeks. Castle's going to be out a couple weeks. Giannis is out a couple weeks. So some of your bigger names right now are a little bit out. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, they were fined $100,000 by the NBA for violating um, pretty much resting players is how I'm going to put it. They rested Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley against the Miami Heat on November 12th, so they were fined $100,000 for violating player participation, which Cavs don't care. Like, that's just where we're at now with resting players. It's crazy. You're resting players, and we're 13 games into the season, Brandon. 13 games. 13 games into the season. The Cavs are currently fourth in the Eastern Conference at 10-6 currently, but $100,000 for resting players. Is that a fair enough amount to be fined for resting two of your?
Oh, I don't think any amount will ever be fair for franchises because like $100,000, that's nothing to a franchise because their ultimate goal is to get a chip, and you rest two of your core players, two of your stars on a team,
13
which
games in.
you're 13 games in, and I have an issue with you resting any players that aren't legitimately hurt.
Yeah.
Especially I get when we're like 40, 50 games in, and you got you're a little banged up. You have like a little nagging
Yeah.
calf, hammy, or whatever it is. You're just a little banged up. Okay, yeah, take a game off. Or my biggest thing is like on back to backs, the backside of that back to back, take it off. Sure.
Yeah.
In this day and age, I guess why not? It sucks for the fans that so happen to be the back to back that can go to that game.
I think now
But
it's also why
overall,
fans,
no.
especially for us, when we try to gamble on the games we want to go to, we have to really consider: are the guys we want to go see play going to play that game? You have to take that into consideration now. You have to look at the schedule. Be a little more mindful about where you're picking your game.
Yes.
Especially for the fan. I use us because we work really hard and we can't make every game. We don't get to go to every game. So we have to look at the schedule. You have to be very mindful about what game you're going to pick and really understand where it lies in the month and whatnot, and really see, because like you have to take that into real consideration now when you're buying tickets.
Well, it's almost,
especially if you are a contending team, you have to be a little bit.
Well, if you're a contending team, but even it's more like right now though, it's crazy that we're not even 20 games into the season yet, and we're already resting players for rest. Not even because they're hurt, but we're gonna give you rest because you're just a little sore. Why are you not out there trying to play every game? Like, it's a sport you love. You should be wanting to be out there and play every single game. But back to back, I think you're going to eventually see that the back to back game is going to have a lot less profit. It's going to be way less because like the potential to have that star player play is not going to play. They're going to rest them.
Matter the most, like when you really think about.
Well, yeah, like the Lakers, the Clippers, the 76ers, the Rockets, the Warriors. Like the Warriors are already resting players, and we're not even 20 games in.
It's crazy. That's just where we're at in the league.
I mean, I get that the injuries happen, soft tissue injuries happen early on in every league, in every sport, because we don't have the aggressive practices and mini camps that we used to have, so you could prepare for a season, which I think adds to these injuries.
No, I think that's a big add to the injury because you don't practice as hard. You don't have training camps like you used to, so your body's not used to. So you get to the season, and then boom, you hit with that injury, and you're out a couple weeks. And
we see a lot of soft tissue injuries.
A lot of soft tissue, especially hamstring injury. Every time you turn on the TV now, hamstring injury, hamstring injury, hamstring. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing to your hamstring?
Well, they're not.
It's crazy because like you'll see players, and you see players talking about how I try to take care of my body. You still get hamstring injury. these injuries are stimulating from that we are not practicing like we used to practice, and I think that's something the NBA we need. You need to get back to practicing properly.
One thing that comes across for the NBA and the NFL that when
Uh-huh.
we enter the first like handful of weeks, we have a lot of soft tissue injuries like that. That might be whole hamstrings or bruising of the muscle because we're not practicing hard enough. And like, oh, I'm
You
taking
got
care of my
practice.
body just because you're eating right and you're exercising
Does
and you're
not
lifting does not equivalent to you actually really taking care of your body
taking
for the actual sport.
contact, physicality. You're not taking it
there's
for
there's
physicality.
always levels to it, and I hate the I'm resting, I'm load management. That shouldn't be part of the NBA. There's not a lot of games you play, and honestly, getting paid millions upon millions of dollars to play a
I know the
fucking
league
game, a sport.
implemented the 65 game rule, and I really some players do take that very seriously. They try to make sure they play every game. I get that, but a lot of these guys now and I don't think I think the players want to play, but I think the players used to want to play, but the team as a whole is like we got to save you and get you ready for this part. And I also think that some of these players are just organizations like we got to get you here, and they've just adapted that mentality as a player. Okay, I understand. I'm gonna like they don't try to fight back. No more. The player doesn't try to fight the organization. Let me play. Let me play.
Well, I think they should bump the 65 games up back to 70 games. Make it less. Like the end game is sure to win a championship
Yes.
for the franchise, but us as the fans, we're what make y'all money. And if you're not showing up to the arena and you're not playing, and so then if I bought the ticket and I bought the merchandise, I'm at the game and you're not playing, I'm not so keen to want to buy it again. And if I buy your league pass or tune on the TV to watch you, and you're not there, I'm gonna tune it off because there's only so many stars in the league that you tune in to watch. Yeah. And I think the NBA has tried, and I think they're kind of semi on the right path. And like missing being a lot of 15 games to miss isn't like a horrible idea, but I still think like as a player you should be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, I want to bring this to your attention because it has came to my attention. It's kind of interesting. Would you consider Trae Young a superstar or a superstar? Maybe not. Like, where do you?
I wouldn't say Trae Young's like the dude, but I would definitely consider him someone that I would feel like I could pair him with a superstar, and they could be successful together.
Okay, so Trae Young is out right now with a lower leg injury, out a couple more weeks, right? So since Trae Young has been out of the lineup, right? The Atlanta Hawks have the second-ranked defense this season when Trae Young isn't on the court. So when he's on the court, they're averaging about 123.2 points per game. That's 28th in the league. When he's off the court, 108. That's second in the league. Atlanta over their last 10 games, so I'm missing a couple games because they played more games. They were 8-2 in that span. Why Trae Young has been out with an MCL injury. Do the Atlanta Hawks have a Trae Young issue? We're not dogging on his offensive game because we know he's one of the best passers in the league. Leads the league in assists. We know what he can do offensively. Has his stretches where he's inconsistent, but we know what he's going to get. But do you think the Atlanta Hawks have a Trae Young issue? Reading off those statistics over the last 10
I think
games,
they might have more like a system issue than they have a really Trae Young issue because even the past couple years, there's been some friction there on whether or not he really belongs there. Yep. And a lot of it's buying into the system. And I don't necessarily know if Trae Young's heart is fully into that system, offense and defense. Because obviously, he's an offensive talent, but defensively, I mean, he can be a liability.
He's got to lock in a little bit better. He's got to lock in a lot.
But again, people say Luka was a defensive liability, but the dude's always getting a handful of steals every game. So it also comes down to feeling wanted and being pushed and willing to be pushed by the staff to play better defense. And I just kind of feel like they're kind of the Hawks and Trae Young are leading towards that point to be parted.
People put shit like that out on social media and then become.
But it also depends on who they played. Because the games that he missed, he could be going against lesser offensive talent versus the one he was in, so that can be kind of skewed.
Well, that's why I say when you put stuff like that out there on social media and these NBA sources push it, you can create friction into a franchise. We've seen that.
Well, I think there's already friction with the Hawks and Trae Young, though.
But that just adds to the friction. I mean, again, 13 to 15 games into the season, you're already pushing that out 10 games in.
Like I said, so it's clearly friction there
literally
that the
friction.
Hawks want out there as
So,
well.
But that's the first thing. I think Trae Young needs to buy in a little bit better defensively because Curry had that same time. Curry wasn't always considered, it was considered a defensive liability, but then was able to buy into a system, led the league in steals a couple times.
But some of that's not always like stats wise; it's more effort wise.
Yeah,
and so that's what's always just kind of like misleading. When like, well, look at the stats. Like he's out, and they're 10, 12 points, better defensively. What is he giving that effort? Well, who are they playing? Like who's really getting, who's really getting exposed? But like I also know, watching Trae Young, that he does give up a lot defensively, and a lot of times the effort isn't there because it looks like he's trying to save himself more offensively. So if that's the case, that he's more like being told to save himself more for offense than defense, that comes more to a scheme thing and coaching.
So you got page 2 when Trae Young does return to the lineup after a couple games. You have to look back into and see what did the Atlanta Hawks look like. Are they still winning, or did they take a step back, and are they losing multiple games? Those would be big things to consider for the Atlanta Hawks going forward. So it's a trending story. Again, you know how mainstream sports media is. You got to create a narrative. That's the narrative they're running with now with the Atlanta Hawks, which again, Brandon and I both agree. Going back into last year, there was already that friction there at times. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye on. The Atlanta Hawks currently sit right now 8th in the Eastern Conference at 9-7. So, they are in the play-in, but
it's still early. We're not even to the Christmas games yet. We're just starting to get a little feisty.
Getting a little feisty here, but next thing up on the board in the NBA, before I get to the thing we want to talk about in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers have fired the minority owners of the Los Angeles Lakers, have fired the Buss brothers under the new ownership. But they did keep the sister, Jeannie Buss, in her current role. But her brothers have been fired. And their response to this whole thing is, we wish we could ask our dad what he would think about us. So I was funny. I said, daughter won. Daddy's little girl got what she wanted.
I mean, my thing
is, this has always been a friction between her and her brothers.
I just know, like, they're not going to be meeting up for the holidays.
No.
And, like,
they would not be sitting down at Thanksgiving.
The Busses also sold the franchise, so you had to know that something organizational-wise and structural-wise up top was going to change. The
brothers have always been the odd ones out when it came to...
Well, when they were in charge of everything, the franchises ran into the ground. It wasn't... They were a laughing stock of the large franchises.
Jeannie came in,
Jeannie came in and she fixed everything, kind of flipped it on the head. Under Jeannie, they won a championship. Yes. And obviously Magic Johnson was there, but I'm not surprised that the new ownership wanted to keep Jeannie on because she has a fairly decent pulse on the league and the players.
Listen, feel how you want to feel about the Buss brothers. They've always had a shaky reputation inside that organization. And listen, I know you've been there 20 years and whatnot. They kept you on for 2 years since they've been sold? About a year? Almost
a year and a half-ish. But there's a reason why Jeannie had the controlling portion of the franchise thanks to her father. So there's a reason why she was up the controlling portion. Well, it's not even, I mean, sure, I guess, but there's a reason why that man left her the controlling portion of the franchise and not the brothers.
Throw their dad into it. It's just the people trying to create. Them just trying to get a narrative of people trying to feel sorry for them.
And that's the full reason why they don't deserve to have any part of the franchise.
Unfortunately, guys, no, it doesn't work that way. The minority owner group is doing what they feel is best, and clearly you were a problem. They kept you on for about a year and a half, like Brandon said. And they're letting you move on. And you're trying to make it a big deal. They did it very discreet. I don't think they did it disrespectively. They let you go. They kept Jeannie in her current role. And at some point in time, with this new ownership, Jeannie will part ways. Whenever that time may come.
I mean, potentially she could stay on in her current role because her current role she's doing quite well in. I mean, currently the Lakers are 11-4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not like the Lakers and with her in the controlling role of is as bad. And like I've already said, like with them in control, the Lakers are a laughing stock. There's a reason why, again, like I said, she had the controlling portion to take back over the team from them.
They went to court, and a judge even ruled in her favor that no, that's where we need to
To me,
go.
it just makes them more kind of a laughing stock. But like the ownership that bought the Lakers, they're great at managing sports franchises. They're a portion
Go
of
look at their reputation.
well, the rest
Dodgers.
of the portion that bought the Dodgers and see that they've already won back-to-back chips in the MLB. They're going for a three-peat in the MLB,
Yeah.
and so like every move they're making
this owner
is
group
smart
knows how to win, and they needed to
and
come
how to
out
make
and
money.
they did. They got off the dead win. So, but staying on the Lakers, the King LeBron James finally returned back to the court after being sidelined with a nerve injury in his leg,
His sciatica
injury. The biggest talk was how will LeBron fit in with this current regime of the Lakers? And LeBron answered that I can fit into any system. I can play any style you want to play. And LeBron came back, played a very generous 30 minutes, 11 points on great efficiency, and had 12 assists in only one term. So he was slinging that thing around. Chemistry didn't look like an issue. Fitted really well. Luka had 37. Luka didn't miss a beat. Luka had the ball a lot. LeBron was kind of just playing that, I would say, like a slasher role type of setting screens, rollings, hitting spot up shots, bringing the ball.
Mine more become like a master role. Like he was just kind of just
everywhere.
little everything. He played defense. He facilitated the ball. He didn't slow the pace down. He like he said, and like we both agree, but like he said, like I can fit into any roster. I can fit in any role you need me to play. And he like I've always said, he finally has a dude that is the dude's dude that's willing to take over. He's like, cool, I can finally pass the torch to a guy that can be the dude. Because he even had Luka announced as the last guy. He even went and announced Luka last, not me. LeBron then was announced, and then Luka was announced as the last guy when LeBron returned.
Because everyone's always came out and said, we've even had those conversations privately, is how are the Lakers going to look? And I think you said a key piece. LeBron is, since he's been a Laker and they got AD, he's been trying to give that torch where somebody else can carry that load, where he can be the guy that comes in when you need him the most, instead of having to give everything and then not be able to give anything at the end. And he has that in Luka, who he's passing the torch on, and it seems like that. With granted, been about one game, obviously. A lot of gameplay to fit. JJ still got to work out how everything's gonna fit. But as long as LeBron has that mindset of understanding that you're not gonna be that guy, which I'm hoping he does, understand that you are in your 40s. You're 41 years old. You'll be 41, 42 in December. So I'll be very curious to see how it works out. But he is doing all the right things, letting Luka be entered. Those are things that matter. I think people forget those things matter when it comes to making a certain guy feel a certain way. Letting Luka, I mean, you're coming back after missing 12 games.
Yeah.
And normally LeBron is introduced last. He did not. He did his, and then Luka came in. So
we even saw when Luka got traded to the Lakers last year that Luka kind of got that preferential treatment
yes,
from the franchise and from LeBron of trying to force him to be the Lakers franchise guy, because LeBron knows like he has this year, maybe one more year in the league, and he knows that the best chance for him to win a chip is to be the second, maybe sometimes third fiddle, and be the Swift Army knife guy that you need me to be. But I still really do think the best thing for LeBron is to come off the bench. And maybe in certain series when we fast forward all the way to the playoffs, I wouldn't be overly surprised and I wouldn't really mind it if LeBron came off the bench to give that spark and to keep everything flowing naturally for the offense and be able to give that effort defensively.
Where you can be LeBron, but for the most part, I agree. He needs to just be that microwave buddy, give that spark, heat everybody up. In certain situations where maybe things aren't going well, you can come in because you've been in every situation you can think of in an NBA game or a playoff series. You've been there, you've seen it, you've been a part of it. You could come in and just slow things down or get things on the right track if things aren't going well.
I think the biggest thing for LeBron is that because the talk was always about LeBron. Well, we're not there. They got to trade. They got to trade LeBron. They got to cut LeBron. Well, they can't cut him. They can't really trade him because you're not going to get enough back for LeBron for the amount of cap space that he takes up. Yeah. So that's always been hard. So if LeBron at his age can fit multiple roles, to fill some of the holes defensively and a little bit and obviously offensively, then he's a fix all. He's a very solid stopgap that could help propel this Lakers team to make a nice deep run in the West.
Absolutely. So, like I said, very early into the season, LeBron James is back. Like Brandon and I were talking about, you have to play 65 games. LeBron James' streak of 21 straight years of being selected to an All NBA team is going to end this year because he's going to miss 4 more games.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just unrealistic to think that LeBron James at 40 plus years old is going to play every game from here on out. So that streak win, but it just is crazy to think 21, 22 years of All NBA team. But
I think that portion of it is huge because like every player, I think like players like him that have always been like on the all roster teams have always tried to play at least 65 games because I mean that's the goal. Hit 65 games, you can get for the awards, the all team, and then you obviously like the max contracts you put up for that. Then when the time comes for the contract, but for him at his age, knowing that he's not going to be hit the 65 games, I think that puts him into a different role and a different mindset. And kind of lets him kind of sit back a little bit to where he doesn't have. Obviously, he won't be playing every game, but he also can save himself more.
LeBron also fits in a different category too when it comes to sitting out games because of his age and where he's at.
Yeah, he's the one outlier.
He's the one outlier, which is also, if you're the Lakers, that's amazing because like he fits in a different category.
Right, you can't get fined for him not playing.
Fined because he is a dinosaur.
Well, I think it's him. I think it's also Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, yeah. I mean, Chris Paul's already had a shit ton of DNPs, so
but
with the Clippers.
That's more of like skill set than it is injuries, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Speaking of the Clippers, I wasn't going to speak about this. Kawhi Leonard's been sitting out. Isn't that a little weird?
No,
there's no timetable for him to come back.
He hurt.
Or the checks stop coming in.
I think
like, you know what? Get that money figured out. Maybe I'll come back. Listen, I think this is a weird thing, and Brett and I were talking about this too. NBA, don't let that shit slide under the table because of the mafia and the gambling situation in the NBA that has really taken over the headlines of Steve Ballmer investing with that company and Kawhi Leonard getting these weird payments for not showing up. Don't let that slide. That's just a weird thing. Kawhi Leonard played a couple of games and then now out, hasn't played in a while, and then it came out. There's actually no timetable for Kawhi Leonard to come back. We don't really know why he's really missing. He's not really hurt. He's just not playing. That's a very sus thing.
The whole thing it bothers me that there's not more conversation that Kawhi's not playing. That the mainstream media isn't talking about the Clippers. Not how shitty they are that they've been this year, but how the fact that Kawhi's not playing, that the owner's not under more scrutiny, and that David Stern's not under more scrutiny for everything that's gone on, from the gambling of players to coaches to a owner and franchise circumventing the salary cap. It's crazy to me that we're just kind of like, meh.
It's definitely slid underneath the radar.
And the mainstream media don't seem to care.
No.
And that's crazy to me. No, we'll continue to talk about it until something actually happens. I mean, like the Clippers are 4-11 this year, and the best
deal out for the year.
But the best thing about them being 4-11 is they don't even own their first round pick. The fucking OKC Thunder do, and currently projecting they'll be a top 5 pick.
Yep.
Based off how the ping pong balls fall.
Which is fucking wild.
Which is just karma in itself, which is rightfully so. And I just know if this was the NFL that had all these scandals going on, it would be all everywhere. People would have been fired. Franchises would have already been forced to be sold.
Roger Goodell don't play them.
Well, Roger Goodell would have been removed. The franchise would have been sold. The owner would have been barred. And like the player that did it, he would have been suspended. But it's the NBA, and nothing's happening.
The previous owner, obviously we're not the racist remarks that he made. He lost not Steve Ballmer. I can't remember his name.
On the Clippers previous.
He obviously was barred. Obviously everything he said. Now you bring in Steve Ballmer, who one of the richest guys, and then a couple years later he's in a scandal like this, and then
nothing.
Because he's one of the richest men in the world. I think he's like the 4th richest person in the world.
He's the richest owner in franchise and sports history.
It's just crickets. It just doesn't sit well with me. But like I said, we're not going to let it go.
The thing that doesn't sit well with me is that the NBA and the mainstream media and everybody's been very quiet about the Clippers. They circumvented the salary cap. It's been proven. The documents are there. The mainstream media put it out there that, hey, they circumvented this. And
It
they also
was
have.
a talk, and then like I said, the gambling shit happened, and it really.
But nothing's happened with either one of those.
No, and we're still.
And David Stern's just kind of like, oh, yep. Anyways, so we're going on with
I just know David Stern was here when
cup.
this shit would have happened, but Adam Silver, man, this is not a great look for you. It's not a great look for Adam.
Like nothing's happening, and nobody cares that nothing's happening. Is crazy.
What's even worse though, man, is like we've talked about this previous episode. Adam Silver even went to some of these apps or like gambling. Said, "Hey, take this out. Let's remove this like under the radar," and that came out. That's just not.
But that doesn't even help it. That's weird. Why are you going to like?
Hey, remove that out. Why am I removing just that specific thing out?
Well, like, why are you going to like these apps or like the gambling sites and asking them to remove certain things? Why don't you just crack down on your players that are cheating, that are gambling, that are trying to make money by throwing the game?
The FBI coming in and saying that they're like obviously the Lakers. They keep bringing up the Lakers as one of the teams, but it's multiple teams that have to return or hand over documents, cell phones, and shit like that as they go through. But they just keep headlining the Lakers because it's a big franchise.
Well, because it was LeBron's like shooting coach or whatever that was there that Damian Jones. So, but also said that AD wasn't going to play this game. Then AD did play. So then like I don't know why we're so like stuck on that because like the information that he tried to feed was wrong.
He fucked up. So, but it's multiple teams. But again, we're going to keep bringing you that as we get more. But that is the biggest stuff going on in the NBA. Like I said, super early in the season, and as the season heads along and get closer to the All-Star break, trade deadline, obviously I think things are going to heat up. I think it's going to be an interesting trade deadline, to be honest.
Probably not. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think anybody big's going to be on the move?
No.
With Dallas, Mark Cuban now taking over.
I don't think so.
Kyrie maybe not wanting to come back and play.
I really don't think it's going to be that feisty of a trade deadline. I think the top 5 teams in both in the East and the West, they'll look at the buyout market, but there's not going to be really no big names being moved around the trade deadline. It'll be more the buyout market that's going to be more intriguing, where the older vets kind of move around. That's my opinion. We're like you already said, we're very far away, so things can change. So,
moving on to the meat and potatoes of our conversation here, the NFL, and I want to jump right into the New York Jets with Justin Fields has officially been benched. He is done for the I wouldn't say done for the year, but he's done being a starter for the New York Jets after 9 games. He went 2-7, 63 completion percentage, basically 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has been benched. For Tyrod Taylor will be the starter going forward. What are your thoughts? Are Woody Johnson and Alan Glenn benching Justin Fields?
Well, I don't like benching Justin Fields. I don't know what that really does for your current team. Putting Tyrod Taylor in, it's not going to help you win games. No. And benching Justin Fields doesn't help you evaluate him anymore. And it's just, I feel like it's a more of a. It's just it's unfortunate. It's more, I feel like kind of like a dig at him because like 2 weeks ago you tried to bench him, but Tyrod Taylor always gets hurt, and he got hurt in practice. So then 2 more weeks, Fields got to be the starter. Now Tyrod's healthy. He gets to come into this shitty offense that they're running. I got more problems with the owner. The same way I have a lot of problems with Jerry Jones always talking. Bro, dog, we don't care about you owners. We don't want to hear from you. Get off the radio. Get away from the media. Like, bro, like you own the team. Nobody cares to hear from you. Like fucking Clark Hunt. He's been the most. His franchise has been the most successful in the past 10 years, and you don't hear from him unless
he does an interview. He always tries to.
But when you hear from him, it's not him. Obviously, there's nothing to that. There's nothing to gloat. I mean, he doesn't gloat, but he's not dogging on nobody. He's always just uplifting everybody. But even when the Chiefs weren't good, you didn't hear from him. No. The only owner you always hear from is the Dallas Cowboys, and we see how that works. And then he's a very, 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 very old man. And Woody Johnson's a very, 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 very old man as well. The same way they told people to shut up and dribble a basketball and shut up and play football. The owners need you shut the fuck up and just own the goddamn team. We don't care to hear from you. And let's just sign the paperwork, sign the contract.
Hired to do the work that they need to do You need to stop.
Besides that part, because that's just fucking annoying. I don't care to hear from these old white men that are babbling about. I want to watch your franchise play and lose because that's what the Cowboys and Jets do. I feel bad for Fields though.
I do feel really bad for Fields because it's unfortunate. He shouldn't be in this situation. He should still be in a Steelers uniform, but the organization as a whole fucked that one up.
I think like the Jets and like the coaching staff fucked this up because
yeah.
I mean I just don't know how. I mean I can't put it on the head coach, but I just don't really necessarily feel like the head coach they have is necessarily head coach material. And if you want to fast forward a little bit on him, though, I don't necessarily know if he'll be there through the whole season next year. I don't know how it gets much better. Fields will be somewhere else again, unfortunately. And at this point in his career, I think Fields is just going to be one of those. Not like he was a bust, but it was just one of those unfortunate storylines where the dude just couldn't get to the correct franchise where he could flourish because he shows Josh Allen, Lamar, Hurts ability and just nothing. And if I'm him going to, because like he's obviously going to be released because I think he's only going to be like a $5 million cap hit.
Yeah.
He'll be released. If I'm him, I'm not trying. Like it's hard to not want to be like fight for the number one position. But if I'm him, I'm trying to go someplace where I can like kind of disappear and be on a winning team and just work on my craft, work on my shit. And then the following off season when like the trash or like the dirt's been like a lot of it's kind of time to wash off of me, let me then try again and compete for a starting job. And if I'm him, it wouldn't be bad. Obviously 49ers is a great landing spot. Maybe the Vikings wouldn't be a bad landing spot to compete for a starting job. But if I'm him, I'm just trying to go to a place where I can disappear for a year and recoup and then try again. But like learn from a solid system.
I would agree with that.
Because I think the dude has the talent. It's just been unfortunate.
It's just been unfortunate, bad spots, and you've got the Steelers was a great spot from last year, but the Russell Wilson situation unfortunately hurt him because everybody else wanted him, but Mike Tomlin just could not let it be and promised Russell Wilson all
which
this
was
stuff.
Weird to me because
the
dude lost like 2 games as a starter with less skill. Well,
and the 2 games they lost weren't his fault. He did his job. He led the team down, scored. The defense actually screwed the team over in those instances, and that's just the way that was.
I mean, I wouldn't even be mad if he went back after this year to the Steelers.
Fields, you had success there,
and they got better weapons.
It's tough to like go back.
But they have better weapons. They got DK, they got Jalen Warren in the backfield. They add another wide receiver in the offseason via the draft or free agency. Yeah. You go back there on a cheap 1-year prove-it deal. Yeah, I mean, I know I already said like go one place and disappear, but you already been in Pittsburgh. They loved you. You fit well there. Why not? Yeah. It's just another honestly, it's a dude that usually when you see a dude that comes in the league that is highly talented as him, usually they kind of flame out and they kind of get buried. But this dude just kind of been bounced. But like as much as like owners want to bury him, the league isn't done with him yet. And I think like it just shows the amount like the talent that he does still have with being 5-6 years in the league.
I bring this guy up every time we talk about quarterbacks because it bothers me. Justin Fields has won 16 games in his career since he's been in the league. Trevor Lawrence has only won 12 more games than him.
But most has been this year.
And most of it's really been over really a two-season year. He's won most of those.
Right, because Fields didn't play like half the season last year.
Trevor Lawrence, you don't hear none of that negativity talk. You always hear about Trevor Lawrence being this guy or that guy. And I know people want to equivalent it to race. I'm not going to bring race because it has nothing to do about race. We're talking about a quarterback position. Trevor Lawrence this year, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And think about it. Trevor Lawrence Justin Fields has completed 63%. Trevor Lawrence only 58%, 59% of his passes. He's thrown over about 2,100 yards. So, in Trevor Lawrence, 6 yards per yard attempt, Trevor Lawrence was better than that with less weapons, less talent. And I always bring up Trevor Lawrence, and I'm not trying to dog on Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence was always talked about as this generational motherfucking talent at the quarterback position. Was supposed to be the all-be-all guy coming out of Clemson. And it's never lived up to anything. And again, we always talk about we give you a pass for the
1 year with
that 1 year with I already forgot his goddamn name, but We give you that 1 year pass, but every year since then, it's just disappointment after disappointment. Yes, you are 6-4, but dog, it's really not because of you.
No, it's been more because of that defense.
Defense.
But Trevor Lawrence also this year has had more weapons around him.
And I always bring up Trevor Lawrence just for the simple fact of
he got paid, and he stayed.
He got to stay. Anywhere else, you would have been on the move. You would have like. And I always go back to Trevor Lawrence for those specific reasons. And that's just 12 more wins. When you really think about that, it's really not that much more. That's a season more.
Like I said, I just hope that next year he can get to a better learning spot, I guess, a better recouping spot, and or just go back to the Steelers.
Absolutely. Next guy up that we need to talk about, and we need to talk about it more of like, why is this going on so much in the NFL right now? But Jamar Chase has been suspended 1 game. I'm sorry for your fantasy team.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Right now, Jamar Chase has been suspended 1 game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey in the game where he was ejected. Lied about it, but well, we got you on 4K. We got you in every K. That was massive. That was a big spit. I don't know why in football in general. I'm not talking just NFL, college. This is everywhere. High school, Pop Warner, motherfuckers spitting on people. I don't know why this has been a thing this year. Don't spit on me, bro. Don't spit. All
I gotta do is just like all I have to do is just quote what Mike Tomlin said when he was asking the media about it, and he was like, "Do it. I don't have nothing to say on that outside of do what feels natural to you."
We fine.
And I'm swinging, and so I have nothing. I have nothing on Ramsey for swinging and getting and taking it to the next level.
Everyone dogged Jalen Ramsey and tried to question his character. Listen, we know that Jalen Ramsey is a firecracker, but he doesn't normally act out of character unless something truly happens. It's very rare for him to do that. And he spit on me, and people are like, Chase would do it. And then we went back, and the footage came out, and boy, a lot of people...
you can't blame nobody for feeling that way because Jamar Chase, up to that point, has been Jamar Chase is also a fiery guy, but he's never done anything like Ramsey has done. But Ramsey and him has always had, very hot, one-on-one matchups that we even saw in the Super Bowl. We also know if you get in Jamar Chase and you put hands on him, it irritates him.
You can get underneath.
You can get. You can, and it's weird flex to lie. That's all I gotta say. It's weird flex to lie. Say you didn't spit, knowing that the cameras are on you 24/7 on the field.
Got you in 4K, and this is very unfortunate. Chase is having a great year.
It's not really unfortunate. You did it. Serve the crime. My question is to you: is 1 game enough? Obviously, precedent's been set that you spit on somebody. It's 1 game.
A lot of people wanted more.
I don't care about what 1 people want. I'm asking you.
I thought you got 2. You bluntly lied like that. Like, and you said it very confident. I didn't spit on him. Like, you said that. Like, I didn't. We got you in 4K. I'm not mad that it was 1 game because that is the precedent. But I thought it should have been 2 games just because that was a hell of a bad lie, dude. Like, you went. Right. I didn't lie.
I feel like 1 game and like the
but
fine.
Precedent, but the way you went about.
Well, I mean, it's 1 game, and then it's obviously he got fined, and then he misses out on a game check.
Basically 500K, basically.
Well, like I said, you missed out on a game check and fined. So,
500, a little over 500.
And this is a big game coming up for them. It's a must-win.
The division is still open.
Joe Burrow potentially could come back too this week.
Very potentially could be practicing. Don't tell that to Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco don't get no fucks. I'm gonna let it fly. I'm telling you, but staying on that conversation, Joe Burrow's been practicing. How do you feel about Joe Burrow wanting to come back? Like
he should be able to come back. There's 7 games left of the season. Like you just said, the division is within reach. Things fall a certain way.
Only 3 games out.
Certain things fall the same way, but I'm not talking about the division. I'm talking about the wild card round.
Yep.
The wild card is definitely within reach if they run the table and get some help. And you're the franchise guy. If you can come back and lead the troops, come back and lead the troops. But I'm also like
Would you bring him back this week with no Jamar Chase?
If he's healthy and that sprained toe's good to go, yes, I don't give a fuck. Like absolutely, bitch. I've had a 42-year-old guy leading the charge. Come back and lead the men.
Also, on the positive side, getting him back is good. Let's look on the negative. What if he comes back and is not? What if he came back and played?
I don't expect him to.
Any pass?
No.
No pass.
No, you've been in the league too long. There ain't no pass.
Okay.
Like I'm not like am I expecting you asking him? He misses a couple of throws. I expect that. Do I expect him to read defense?
They are playing the Patriots this week, so
I don't care.
No
You've been in the league too long. Okay. You're considered one of the top 5 QBs in the league. I'm not giving you zero pass for looking ugly. Some missed throws, absolutely. A misread or here or there, absolutely. But I'm expecting elite.
So you're not going to give him the pass that your main guys on TV are going to give him. Like if he
No,
you're not. We're not giving.
If you're going out there, if he's coming out this weekend to play,
and you're fresh as fuck too.
I don't give a fuck that you're fresh. I don't care. That's great. You're coming out saying you are completely healthy, so it means you're completely mobile and you're ready to go with or without Jamar Chase. I do not care. You still have T. Higgins out there, and a 42. You got to outperform. If he has to outperform the 42-year-old quarterback, if he can't outperform Joe Flacco, then I'm going to have questions, rust or not.
That's fair.
I don't care. Like I expect some missed throws. I expect a couple miscues because you're not been out there. But as soon as you get hit once, I expect it to kind of click in.
Absolutely.
So no, it's must win. You're in playoff mode now if you're the Bengals.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in that mode. But Joe Burrow is still questionable to play this Sunday.
But he's been a full participant.
Been a full participant last couple weeks, and Brett and I've already had that conversation. Joe Burrow has a very high sack rate. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's had the same offensive line. Very less sack rate. Very less. So, definitely be queuing in on what the Bengals do. CeeDee Lamb and Pickens were benched for the first drive for the Dallas Cowboys last week.
Monday night against the Raiders.
And it would puzzle a lot of people. So, Brandon and I did a little bit digging. Slipped under the radar in sports media. Apparently, they were benched because they missed curfew, but they were at the casino at like 7:30 in the morning. There's supposedly video out there. No one's seen it. Been very good about keeping that PR under control of them puking in trash cans.
Yeah, apparently CeeDee Lamb was throwing up, and then he supposedly came out and said, "Oh, I can handle my alcohol better than I don't throw up." Okay, but apparently that's why they were
benched for just the first drive.
For the first drive.
Which ended out in a 3-and-out. Cowboys ended up winning that game, which we'll get to that. But
I mean, it was the Raiders. I'm not overly surprised.
This is not. It's not great for CD.
Well,
Pickens, we understand.
I think Pickens is a little bit of a bad influence.
A little bit of a bad influence.
But also, it's Vegas, and it's kind of surprising. This is like the first incident we've kind of had with a team coming to Vegas, staying out. Some players staying out a little too late. But I have a little bit of an issue with that punishment being that week. Like you have a curfew, you got to be in your room at this set time, and you play at night. But we still got walkthrough around like 1:00. 1:00, 2:00 there, and you're out till then. I have issues that I'm just going to suspend you for one drive. Where is it? Like you're suspended for a half and a fine.
Because they do that in college. College, you miss a whole.
Well, I don't give a fuck about college. I'm saying in the NFL, like you miss curfew and you're intoxicated and you're out gambling,
which is already heated. Massively.
Well, it wasn't sports gambling, but you miss curfew and you're a pro. You're supposed to be a pro. And you get caught out doing this.
It's not great. Not a good look.
And you miss curfew you didn't even come back. You got caught out there by cameras.
Which again, they've done a great job of keeping it.
I feel like it should have been like half a game and money fine.
Put it out there. You put everything else out there, you motherfuckers, costing us a Super Bowl a couple years back.
You're gonna let the Kareem Hunt thing go.
I'm not letting that go. She got paid. She was cool. She was happy. She wasn't upset, but TMZ had a problem. Fuck you, TMZ.
Well, Kareem Hunt lied, so.
But it's not a great look. Pickens already influenced the CD. That's super out of character for CD too. You've never heard a bad thing about CD Lamb ever, ever. So when that happened,
he faces one drive punishment.
Yeah, one drive punishment. I want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons here, Brandon. We got to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. So the Atlanta Falcons currently sit 3-7 in the NFC South. They're 3 games out of their top division, but we don't have any hope for them even coming close to winning their division. We agree that this team is underperformed massively. Head coach should be on the hot seat, and Raheem Morris should be on a very hot seat. They signed Kirk Cousins, what was it, last year?
Yep.
Big deal. It was a big deal. And then in the draft, they hit everybody massively when they traded up and got
Michael Penix
Jr., who at that time was very shocking, but coming out of college was a bit of a outlier coming off
Well, I mean, he was coming out of a great year in college,
great year,
but also was known to be injury prone,
which is a big deal. But they did it, and after hearing it, you kind of like sat back and after hearing their reasoning, yeah, we could understand that. We thought you were going to win a lot of games. You got Kirk Cousins, who's not like all be all winning quarterback, but gets the job done. Can let that thing sling. You had a great young roster that they have in Bijan Robinson and all the receivers, great defensive players, and has not worked out at all. Has not worked out at all. And this is where it gets even more. And this is why I want to talk about it. Michael Penix Jr. done for the year. Torn ACL, got the second opinion.
Partial torn ACL,
done for the year. Going to have surgery to get that fixed, but he's done. Kirk Cousins is now going to come in. Don't know what that really does for them. He's a much older player.
I mean, he's the backup.
He's the backup. He's going to come in, let that thing sit. This is where it gets really bad for all my Atlanta Falcon fans out there. The Rams are currently, let me make sure I get their record right. They are 8-2, so it's still right. The Rams are 8-2. They actually own the Atlanta Hawks pick, which is currently the 8th pick overall in the NFL draft. That is wild. Atlanta doesn't own their first round pick. The Rams do for the trade that they did in the offseason where they traded up to James Price in the draft, and they gave the Rams their first round pick to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Ouch.
No, it's a big blow for the Falcons to lose out on the number one overall pick, but it's a bigger plus. It makes that trade look horrible for the Falcons, but it's even better for the Rams that are going to be winning the division and fighting for the number one seed in the NFC. That's going to potentially get a top 5 talent and or like get their QB of the future, depending on what shows up there.
Yeah, shows up. This is if you are a Falcons fan.
What's more of a blunder? The quarterback that they traded up for when they just signed Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix is which more blunder? Him not being able to finish his second season, or giving up your number one pick next year. Which one's more of a blunder?
I almost want to say it's probably Michael Penix because you gave up a lot to draft up and get him in that draft. It's still a big hit to give up what you gave up to get James Price, who's performed very well, but I'd have to go with Michael Penix because you signed Kirk Cousins. There was really no. I understood the move after sitting back and we dwelled on that, last year. But Michael Penix, I mean, knowing that he's injury prone from college, I mean, you went through all his injuries in college.
But even with his injuries aside, he's not looked great this year.
He's not looked great. I think that's a big blow.
I mean, I think I agree, but I think it's time for the head coach got to be gone.
He got to be gone.
I think you move off in this offseason because clearly, again, you're not capitalizing on the talent you have offensively, let alone the talent you're starting to accumulate defensively. You're not seeing the progression there. So he got to go, and honestly, you got to look at the GM too.
Think about the Rams could potentially, depending on how the season goes for the Falcons, you could have a top 5 pick.
The Rams went from fuck them picks to let me get them picks.
And you never know. Stafford's playing amazing right now. You don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how the season is going to play out and what's going to happen in the offseason with Stafford. But it puts the Rams in a great spot to get the QB of the future, trade back, get more draft picks, and the Rams are in position to look very good in the very near future.
Absolutely. So we'll have to see with that. But if you're an ATL fan, not looking good for you. Not looking good. The last topic we need to talk about before we get into the Week 11 recap and the Week 12 matchups is Shedeur Sanders time.
It is.
It's Sanders time, baby. It's Shedeur time. Dylan Gabriel did go down with a concussion. We do wish Gabriel was. You don't want to see a guy go down with an injury. Concussions are a big thing right now in football. Again, he's going to be fine. But we want to make this very clear because some people take this the wrong way. Feel bad for Dylan Gabriel. We do because you never want to see a guy get injured. But it's Shedeur time. And listen, if you watch that game between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, the pressure that the Ravens brought against Dylan Gabriel was not the same pressure they brought against Shedeur Sanders. And I want to make that very clear. Because people want to dwell on how bad Shedeur looked, and I just don't think people really watched. Yes, the the throws, the numbers, the QBR that everybody looks into were not great. But it was the what you watched. You didn't watch it. You didn't see the pocket presence. You didn't see the clutch throws when the game was on the line that the receivers dropped. Or
Well, like, so let me just hit on a couple quick points on that. So obviously, like, there's no reason to pressure Daniel Gabriel, how they pressured Shedeur. There's no tape on Shedeur, but Shedeur also has 0 reps with the first team. Coach was asked and had 0 reps. The O line said, I maybe heard his cadence once or twice. And so expecting Shedeur to come out and just look like the be all guy is a joke. If you're harping on any of his stats, you're just a Shedeur Sanders hater. But if you are any sports fan of football, watch the final drive of the Browns marching down the field. Shedeur made the throws. He hit the guys. He hit the dude open in the end zone. Dude dropped it. But Shedeur's presence in the pocket is beyond none. He manipulates it great. He's not afraid to stand in the pocket, deliver the throw, and take the hit. And my last thing I got to ask you on the whole thing, because like I'm here, I'm very intrigued that he's finally getting his opportunity. Could he gotten a better matchup though than the Las Vegas Raiders?
No, this is perfect. This is the team we thought he was going to.
Was one of them, because he couldn't have asked for a better matchup.
He's gonna get first team reps, but I'm also Brent. You asked me that. Could be a better matchup for him. I agree with you that. But I have to ask you this: what are you looking for from the Browns going into this matchup? Like, is there something specific you're looking for, like from offensive coordinator to how Stefanski's going to act? Because it's all been about Dylan Gabriel. It's all Shedeur Sanders time. Like, Dylan Gabriel's on the shelf on concussion protocol. He's getting all the first team reps, so there will be none of that excuse, obviously. I think Shedeur's going to. This is his one and only chance, unfortunately. For
at least this season.
This is his one and only chance to go out and prove to the naysayers that he is what we all.
Well, I think Daniel Gabriel's going, or not Daniel Gabriel. Sorry, I think Shedeur Sanders. I'm expecting a very solid outing for a rookie, but I think he's going to shell out to the eyes.
My question.
And he's going to show that glimpse that we saw with the Commanders QB last year. I think where he's going to kind of shell out that way and kind of give that spark. Daniel Daniels. I think he's going to give that spark and that look like he's kind of that dude. And as you're a head coach, on kind of a little bit on that hot seat,
your job's on the line too.
And you see this dude that he can ball. I think he's potentially could end up being the starter throughout the rest of the season for the Browns. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Like, you already saw what Daniel Gabriel does, and it's
not great.
Subpar for a rookie. There's no really great flashes there. And so why not ride Sanders the rest of the year? But again, the franchise didn't really want him, so there's a lot of weird things there. But you might have potentially could have like your franchise dude.
Or is there anything outlining in the Raiders game that you're looking for from Kevin Stefanski, offensive coordinator for Shedeur? Is there something? Or is there anything like, obviously, like we're breaking down the game?
Well, I'm more here to see if like Sanders starts to like shine, like he's hitting his marks, he's hitting his target. If they tried to like rein him back a little bit, or the playing call gets very vanilla or very run heavy to try to suppress what he can do, that'd be very weird. I don't expect that because I feel like the coaching staff and the players will coach and play to win. So I would not be expecting that. But I don't know. Like, it's been a very weird thing for Sanders and the Browns. I wouldn't expect it, but I wouldn't be surprised if some weird play calls would start being called.
This is a game where you're really going to, as a football fan, you're going to want to analyze and break down how this is going to look. Like, you're going to look. It's more than football here. Personally,
well, I guess like, the biggest thing, I guess, what would stick out to me would be kind of like the 2-minute drive, or if they get into the red zone or late in the quarter, what they necessarily call or do. I mean, they clearly. Was why I personally don't think is going to happen is that they tried to go down and they win the game with Sanders at the very end of the Ravens game last week. So I don't think that's going to be something because, like, again, you coach to win and you play to win. So I don't think it's going to be something, but I wouldn't be surprised if he starts looking a little too good or he starts, shining out that maybe right before halftime, instead of trying to push the ball, we just kind of we hand it off a couple times. Let's get to halftime. Let's not shell out too much. But again, like I still think they'll play to win. But there'll be some question marks for sure in this game from the Browns coaching staff. That's kind of makes you question, like, how come we didn't try to go? Why didn't we go for it on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2? Or how come we didn't try to go to score with a minute left before halftime?
That's a fair statement. Something we're never going to be peaking close attention to this coming week. But like I said, Shedeur Sanders is in. He's getting all the first team reps this entire week. So, yeah, couldn't ask for a better matchup going up against one of the worst defenses in the league, against the Las Vegas Raiders. And having a great pass rusher going up against the Raiders as well, Myles Garrett, and then Boys going to be coming for Geno. So Shedeur Sanders, I think, is going to have a lot of opportunities, but we're going to have to break down how the offense really looks. Like Brandon said, you heard everything he said, so we can pay close attention to that. Week 11 recap, Brandon. Getting into the Week 11 matchups, not a whole lot to really break down here. Theoretically, outside of like the Bears won that game again in the final seconds. The Bears are. We've already had talked. This is a weird NFL season.
There's no.
It's
to me, it's the weirdest thing that the Pope is a Bears fan, and not everything that's in the close second and field goals are not going the Bears' way. I'm not saying there's a higher power playing at hand, but there's a little sus out there in the world.
You got the Panthers, who you can't really understand, kind of played out. Obviously got the win, but played down the competition, but was able to smoke it out there.
Bryce Young, 448 yards passing.
Bryce Young had the greatest game of his NFL career.
He was on, but boy, his eyes are large.
I know we got to.
Let's talk about some perks.
That Chargers-Jag game was odd, too. Justin Herbert, 81 passing yards? Ouch.
Yeah, no. Again, like, it's just the AFC's hella weird. Jaguars are good, but kind of not good. The Chargers are supposed to be good, not good, and then get stomped out, only getting 6 points.
You had the Bills-Bucks game. That was a close game. Yes, it was a 12-point game, but the Bills were able to pull it out.
It was high scoring like everybody thought.
High scoring, very high scoring. Got what you got from that game. The Seahawks and Rams game was close, a 2-point game. You didn't watch the game, you're like, man, quarterbacks played well. Stafford played well. Sam Darnold reverted back to his New York Jet days, where he threw 4 interceptions, but they still had a chance to win the game. Got all the way down there, missed the game-winning field goal. The Seahawks did, but that was a close game, what we thought it was going to be, which made you question a little bit too, but I don't really know how to evaluate the game. Darnold threw 4 interceptions, and you lost by 2. And Matthew Stafford played a hell of a game.
I mean, for Seattle, you got to feel good.
You have to feel good.
That you were that close.
Like you lost, but you won at the same time.
It was one of those feel-good things where, like, our quarterback played like garbage.
But we were there.
But we were right there. And if you're the Rams, you got to feel good. You skipped with the win. But, again, if you're, like, in the organization as the staff, you got to feel some kind of way. Again, a big moment. And Sam Darnold fell very badly short. Yeah. Not kind of short, very badly short.
That's fact. And then there was the Niners and Cardinals game. And everybody, you're probably thinking, why are we talking about a game where the Cardinals lost by 20? It's really crazy to think that the Cardinals lost by 20 when Jacoby Brissett set a record, completing 47 of 57 passes. And you got to think, damn, you missed that many passes. You should have won this game. No, you got blown out by 20, and you only missed 10 passes. You completed 47 passes.
They had 452 passing yards.
That's insane.
Yep.
That's criminal. But he's slinging that thing. Kyler Murray had to bring 2-year times down. Like, he's not looking great for you. But and then I want to get to the Eagles and Lions game. Listen, that was a shitty way for that game to end. I want to go right to the end of that game. That was very shitty for that game to end. I'm still, to this day, trying to figure out where there was defensive pass interference. I don't see it.
No. If you're going to throw a flag, it would have been offensive pass interference on AJ Brown pushing off. But even that, I don't even like that call. No. And like the Lions should have had a chance to potentially drive down.
Yeah.
And that never got to happen, which is a shitty way to end
that
game. But also, Jared Goff didn't play good. But I'm also here for the potential matchup they're going to probably have in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm here to see how that one kind of plays out because it was honestly overall very ugly game. for both teams.
Both teams, it was ugly. The refs were heavily involved in that game. Speaking of the refs, we go to our Broncos and Chiefs game, and I know everybody knows that we are Chiefs fans. That was an ugly game too, from a refereeing standpoint on both sides of the ball. I want to make that very clear. Both sides of the ball when it comes to the Broncos and the Chiefs. The refs interfered massively in this game, especially late in the game on crucial drives, crucial downs. I hate to break this to the refs. We are not here to watch.
All I say on that game is I really couldn't get into that game, into the flow of it, because every time either team kind of got going, there was a flag. There was a flag, and I'm like, so this is just kind of a flag game, very ugly game. Be fast forward over to the end, same way we did with the Eagles game. There was a no call flag on the ceiling catch for the Broncos. The wide receiver went into motion, stopped, and then false started. And I couldn't figure out what Watson for our corner, Jalen Watson was doing. He was flailing about. I'm like, bro, what are you flailing about? Like your matchup is right across from you. What's wrong? And then it came across social media, so we're just not going to call a false start on the wide receiver. And the wide receiver hellaciously false started again. Mainstream media did not care that he false started, and which then he ended up beating Watson and catching it, and then beating us by a field goal, obviously. So again, it's a flag heavy game, but then you don't call the crucial
Well, I even go back
penalty.
into that game too when there was a crucial pass interference call that the Broncos committed right in front of the referee, and that ref didn't call. It was the far ref on the far side of the field that had to make that call. And I'm like, what are you watching, bro? You've been throwing that flag all game.
But according to Tony Romo up above, that ref didn't have that angle to look at it and make that call. I'm like, I mean, I had the angle from the camera that the TV was showing that was PI.
So it was a very overall Week 11 heavy official. I felt like in certain games that they interject themselves in. And listen, not a fan of it. I'm not here for the refs to inject themselves, man, because it's not great for the.
My whole thing is if you're going to put your staple on the game from beginning to almost end, put your staple on the game with all your flags from beginning to end.
The only great thing that came from the refs in Week 11 is they actually finally called a false start on the Philadelphia Eagles when it came to the tush push.
Considering the dude was reaching across the line, smacking the hand.
Eagle, or the Detroit Lions player's hand. They finally called that, but outside of that, it was not a great Week 11 when it came to the officiating getting involved. Moving into the Thursday night football of the Week 12 of the matchups going into Week 12 before we get to our picks. Texans and Buffalo Bills, Thursday night football going into this game. Josh Allen undefeated in primetime Thursday night games, 8-0. That is now not the case no more. He's now 8-1 after losing to Davis Mills and the Houston Texans. But Davis Mills is somebody that we need to show a little bit of love to. He's been slinging that thing over 2 weeks, not getting a lot of love, being 2-0 while C.J. Stroud is out in concussion protocol. But let's talk about the Houston defense, what they did to Josh Allen. Had that dude running backwards for days. That dude running backwards for days.
8 sacks.
8 sacks, ladies and gentlemen. 8 that defense had. Every time it was third down and 5 and more, bro, they brought everybody. Outside, inside, Josh Allen had nowhere to go.
Nope.
Nowhere to go. And I question this for Buffalo Bills fans. Do you only get up to play the Chiefs? Does the defense only get up to play the Chiefs? Does the pass rush only get up to play the Chiefs? Does your receivers I'm confused on Buffalo right now.
Well, since they played the Chiefs, they lost and then won again 2 turnover game by Josh Allen against the Bucs, and then lost again. So again, it really looks like to me Buffalo's defense is way below what they've been in the past, and they're clearly missing a number 1 guy. I'm just saying, luckily they paid James Cook and they kept him.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, the Texas defense just shelled out, and C.J. Stroud has not looked as good as David Mills has looked the past 2 weeks. Not saying there's no QB controversy there, because clearly there's not. But I mean, Mills is throwing that shit around though.
Yeah, Mills is throwing it around. But if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, again, you played some favorable matchups this year, which you've won, which you're supposed to win. We get that. But boy, it's not been.
I mean, the Bills had no reason to lose against the Texans and their backup quarterback, and they did.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess for me, Sean McDermott, man, what was the adjustment? You didn't want to bring in the guy to help chip, give Josh Allen some time, something, extra blocker. I mean, they
Or
were
run the ball more.
getting blown up.
I mean, James Cook had 116
it was
rushing
kind of like how we
yards.
talk about when the Chiefs go to run the ball in an obvious run play, like you knew it was a run instead of like it being a 50-50. Like Houston knew you had to throw the ball, and you knew they were bringing the house, and you did nothing to help Josh Allen. Nothing.
Nope.
That was crazy to me. But Buffalo's got to figure it out. Week 12.
Week 12, we got the Steelers at Chicago. Looks like Aaron Rodgers will be going with his wrist.
Ooh, I mean, hard to pick against the Bears right now. They're just winning close games. They're figuring out how to win. I can't believe I'm saying this. Chicago Bears.
I mean, they are home, so that's fair. Patriots at Bengals.
Patriots.
Even with Joe Burrow potentially?
Joe Burrow,
that's fair.
Patriots defense gonna eat him.
Giants at Lions.
Lions.
Yeah. Vikings at Packers.
This could be a weird game. But I'm going to say Packers. But it could be a weird.
I mean, it's going to be weird if the Packers play down to the competition, which they do. Seattle at Tennessee.
Oh, Seattle bounce back.
I mean, it's not even bounce back. It's just like Tennessee.
Sam Darnold will be spared for 4+ touchdowns. Bounce back game, baby.
Then we got at noon the Colts at Kansas City.
Chiefs, and it's a must-win for Kansas City. No more trap games, no more bullshit. It's playoff football every week from our Kansas City Chiefs. So, but I'm taking the Chiefs.
Jets at Ravens.
Ravens.
I mean, it should be.
It should be, unless
Shedeur Browns at Geno Smith and the Raiders.
Shedeur, baby. Shedeur time, baby. I'm rocking with the Browns here confidently. I'm big for Shedeur right here.
Jags at Cardinals.
Oh yes. I'm gonna take the Cardinals, dude, because I know people are gonna look back. Oh, look at the Jags and the Chargers. No, give me the Cardinals. I just feel like
Eagles at Dallas.
I really want to say the Cowboys, but it's probably gonna be the Eagles.
All right. Falcons Saints.
Give me the Saints, dog. Give me the Saints.
All right, then you have this is gonna be a good game. Tampa at Rams. Which is Sunday night.
Sunday night, man. This is going to be... Give me the Rams, but I think it's another close game. I feel bad for Baker and the Bucs, but it's just hard to pick against the Rams right now. Matthew Stafford.
Bucs ain't healthy defensively yet.
Yeah, they're trying to make it. They can just, hold out. They're going to be there, but give me the Rams.
Then Monday night, we have the Carolina Panthers at the San Francisco 49ers.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to look at this game on Monday night and think, damn, the Rams the 49ers should handle this game. That's not the case when you play the Panthers.
Not this year.
It's not this year. They play up to competition. Still taking the Niners, but I think this game could be very close. More closer than what people want to give it to be.
I think we finally, after 3 weeks of Monday Night Football, we're finally going to get an interesting Monday night game.
Absolutely. So, but I'll take the Niners, but I do think this could be a potential field goal game. I wouldn't be surprised. Because, boy, you can't figure out the Panthers.
Panthers are a weird football team this year.
That is our Week 12 picks. We'll see you guys next week.